All right, welcome everybody. Appreciate you being here. I want to welcome everybody that's watching from whether it be Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Periscope, Twitter. Those that are listening via Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Appreciate you guys being here today. This session, actually, as you guys know, I've been a bit dark here for the past couple of months on purpose, and we'll explain that at some point with all of you. But I actually had an individual. We had a 3-day event that was supposed to be held in Atlanta, Georgia. How many of you guys were going to be at that event in Atlanta? Had a core group of leadership there with me. Six-figure legacy inner circle coaching program, we called it, and then we couldn't have that event. So we went live this last Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Actually, I forgot you guys are up there. I've got several screens here, several cameras. So we ended up not having that event, so we did it virtually through Zoom. And did that event via Zoom, and one of the gentlemen that after we got done with that event, and then we did this last Friday, did kind of like a happy hour, if you will, from everyone that works with me, and did a Zoom meeting, happy hour, and when we did that, somebody came back and just said, Kori, you have lots of people that follow you, and I know God gives you, everybody certain talents, and you have a talent of being able to communicate with people. And I don't feel that you're using those talents the way God gave you those talents, especially during this time of need. And so that rang true to my heart. And so I committed to the team this week to go live today with all of you to share some of my thoughts. And before I jump into my thoughts, I need you to understand something, which is I'm not a doctor. I don't have all the information in front of me. I'm going to give you my opinion. You need to take my opinion, take it or leave it, like you do all information that you're given, and decide for yourself what you want to do. But my role is simply to give you some things to think about. And I get my information from various sources. One of the sources that I take a lot of credence into is Bill Gates, who obviously has a lot of experience in all of these things, as well as other experts that are out there that have been warning of a pandemic like this for a number of years. Hey, Jason. So I want to cover, before I do that, though, I want to ask you guys to do me a favor, and this is not for my own gratification this time. As you know, I asked you guys to share my information out there, and that is for my personal gratification. This message I'm going to share with everyone, I'm asking you to share it on your social media so that I have more reach. I'm going to fuel this video by boosting it and spending several $100s in order to boost this. And I'm going to have a series of content that I want to share with all of you. And what people have asked me for on social media, they've asked me for how do I keep my mindset in the right place during all of this shit going on. Number 2 is, how do I protect my family and my health? And then number 3 is how do I, move forward financially? Because I know a lot of people are in a financial hardship right now. And how do I move forward with my family, and how do I protect myself, and how do I succeed during this winter season, if you will, financially? And how do I do that? And so I'm going to give you guys all kinds of things. So I decided to break this out into 3 different sessions for you guys. So this is the session 1, and then session 2, I'm going to talk specifically about money. And that's going to be on Saturday at 11 o'clock Central. 11 o'clock Central, 12 Eastern. I'm going to have a conversation with all of you about how to insulate yourself financially. I've been preaching this now for the past 4 years, is that winter is coming. My prediction was, I'm talking winter, people get confused, winter season financially. We've been in a harvest season now for 12 and a half years. I knew winter was coming. Most experts knew winter was coming financially, and I've been talking about insulating yourself financially for winter season for quite some time. I didn't anticipate it coming this early. I had planned on, my prediction was mid-summer of 2021, but of course the coronavirus kind of threw a wrench in all of that and threw it in a bit early. And so I'm going to chat with all of you, if I can, this Saturday at 11 o'clock Central on a topic that I love talking about, which is money. And either A, if you have money, you have cash, how you scale that now and basically increase your wealth by 3 to 4 times during this difficult time. But then those that are not in that position, how you hold out financially, how you, we all hear about this relief package, how you benefit the most from the relief package, how to decipher what's going on, how to get money if it's available to you, how to keep your companies open, how to, become more valuable to the company you're working with so that you benefit them, how you reach out to the clients that you have if you have clients, and get them in a position of wanting to work with you and having this dam build up, if you will. The dam is the analogy, not dam build up, but the dam built up so that when this releases, you guys are in financial position to benefit from that. And then, of course, how you weather the storm right now. And so I'm going to cover that Saturday at 11 Central, 12 Eastern. But I'm asking all of you right now, type in the chat window if you've shared this. I'm asking all of you just to share this post with your social media so that I can get my message out there. I'm very fortunate, and I agree, I have not been utilizing it, so thank you, Mark, for pushing on me to share with all of you, because God has given me the ability to have a voice out there. And even though my normal following is about 60 to 100,000 people that'll watch this video over the next few weeks, I want to impact millions of people. And to do that, I'm willing to put some money into it to help fuel and boost. But the best boost I can get is from you guys sharing this with your social media. Okay, so I appreciate if you guys are sharing out there. So today what I want to talk about is two pieces. And again, I'm just telling you right up front, I'm in a positively pissed off situation in my mind. And that is that people are not taking the situation seriously. And I've been very fortunate and unfortunate to have people that are affected all over the country. Some people that are in New York and living it and sending pictures from their phones, things that are going on, people internationally that I'm close to that are sharing their stories. And so I'm seeing all of these things, good, bad, or ugly. So my first thing is, how do you keep your mind insulated from it? Number two is, how do you keep your family healthy? So first, I want to debunk a couple of things that are out there. And again, I keep saying this over and over again. My marketing team and legal team and corporate team and everyone's telling me to make sure I'm careful of what I say. There's certain words I don't want to say because I'll get banned off of Facebook for saying it. And so I'm going to be very careful if I can, which you know is challenging for me. Bree this morning was saying, don't say this, don't say this, don't say this. And I'm like, you keep getting it stuck in my head. I'm gonna say it and get in trouble on Facebook again. So first of all, let me talk about the negative. I always like putting the negative out there first, and we'll talk about the positive spin on it. So the negative is the fact that this virus is a real thing. The negative is we added just today or yesterday 180,000 new cases. 180,000 total cases in the U.S. We're adding about 20,000 new cases a day right now in the U.S. The negative as well is, even if we don't do social distancing, my opinion is that we are wrong in how we're handling this. And again, what I know is that we've passed a $2.2 trillion package to help provide relief. And if I had my choice and the experts that I've talked to out there, what I would do is lock everything down for 2 months. I would have done that 2 weeks ago already, locked everything down. So every state would have locked down. They would have locked down the borders and to get a handle on this. Because the challenge those people have, and again, I'm just being real here, is I saw a GIF here earlier this week, and I loved it, which is the same people that are deciding to go out there and not social distance, still having parties, still going out for Mardi Gras, still having church service, still doing those things, are the same stupid people that are drive slow in the fast lane on the interstate, right? People think they're bucking against the crowd, and granted, younger children aren't being affected as much. Those that are, in my age group down, you've got, basically less than a 1% chance of dying, maybe as high as 2%. If you're, my age group is around 2%. If you're younger than, 20, your percentages are really low. But the reality is we are not going to be able to sustain a 2% death rate if we don't decide to social distance and take it upon ourselves to lock things down, to share with the people that are in our state that are making the rules. And people have this attitude, well, for example, I'll use Nebraska, and Trump's talked about Nebraska. Sorry, Bree, about Nebraska. And, we had the saying of, well, there's less than 100 people here, right, that have it. First of all, that's BS. I know that personally. I have a first cousin who has been diagnosed but not confirmed with coronavirus, went to the hospital. They gave her something for her breathing and said if your fever goes above this, make sure you come back in. Quarantine for 15 days. Tell everybody to quarantine for 15 days. So the whole point is, by estimates that I've seen out there are 4 times to 5 times more people out there that have it in the U.S. that haven't been tested. So that's the first challenge. Second challenge is, let's say let's just say 200 cases. So you live in a state, for example, and you feel that you're lucky, you've got 200 cases or less. So here's the challenge. The challenge is this exponentially grows and multiplies if we're not socially distancing an average of 33% per day. 33% per day. So that means if your state, first of all, people are idiots. You look at Iowa that's been hit a lot harder than Nebraska. Well, the border's right here. I mean, Council Bluffs in Nebraska is right here. People have this lackadaisical attitude, and that's when we get ourselves in trouble. So if you have 200 people in your state, and those 200 people, if it exponentially grows, which has been an average of 33% per day, that in 1 month you have 800,000 cases. 800,000 cases. The challenge with human beings, if it doesn't affect us right now, we don't take pause. We don't focus on it. Bill Gates said that all of this we could have been in a protected capacity and had the infrastructure ready to handle this with around $100 billion. Now, $100 billion is peanuts compared to the 2.2 trillion, right? So let me talk about the negative and more, and then we're going to talk about the positive. So the negative of all of this is that even with if we all kind of lock down, socially lock ourselves down, we stay in our homes more, we maybe go shopping, once every 3 weeks for groceries. If we make sure when we come into our house, we're washing our hands, taking our clothes right away. If you still have to work outside the house, some of you guys do, you put your clothes in the washing machine right away. You wash your hands. By the way, your bottom of your shoes, which already are, most people don't realize this, wearing your shoes in the house is gross in the first place. There are all kinds of nasty things and feces and bacteria and viruses on your shoes in the first place. But the coronavirus, they say, will last on most people's shoes for about 5 days. You'd be spraying your shoes down as well. But here's the thing, is even with doing that, they're still saying between 100,000 to 200,000 deaths in the U.S. 100,000 to 200,000. And if we just let it run its course, they're saying 1.8 to 2.2 million deaths in the U.S. But the whole point is this. The point is it's about keeping it at that 2 to 2.5% fatality rate. The way you keep it at that rate is by reducing the amount of flooding going into the hospitals. So it's on us to socially distance ourselves, to be smart about it, to get enough groceries to handle, 2, 3, 4 weeks, not leaving the house any more than we have to, not deciding to be lackadaisical and hanging out. We've had a couple people come into our home and they get annoyed with me because I make them go over and wash their hands, right? Spray them down. Because I don't want to, and I feel that I'd be perfectly fine if I got it, that I'm very healthy, very rarely get sick, but is it worth it? Is it worth rolling the die? I know you guys have seen I've seen it now several times out there, the thing about Skittles, right? Is that if you knew that you had a handful of, let's say a glass full of Skittles, and there were, of those Skittles, out of 100 Skittles, there were 2 to 4 Skittles that were poison, would you eat the Skittles? That's the point. I've got parents that are right now basically locked down in their RV at the RV park in South Carolina because they don't want a chance traveling. My father's in the very, very high risk category. Some of you guys have grandparents, have family in high risk. So the point is, whether or not you pull through this or not, if you care about others around you, you'll be smart about it. You'll be smart about locking down. But think about this. Think about in the U.S., think about how many died during 9/11, right? Was it, I forget the number, 3,000 or so that died during 9/11? I have personal friends and family that have people that have died. Some of you guys have friends and family that have already passed away because of this. So my whole point here is be smart about it. Realize it's happening. So you guys remember when I talk about, what you give focus to, where focus goes, energy flows. And that we talk about don't water your weeds because whatever you're watering, it only manifests more. So here's what I'm saying. I'm saying let's switch now to the positive and to the mindset. So the mindset, first of all, the mindset needs to be focused on the future and on positive things. So what we do know is if you simply have a garden and you say there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, the weeds are going to take over your fucking garden. The same thing is true of the coronavirus. If you're just going out there and saying everything is fine, everything's fine, everything's fine, and not focusing at all on it, you're not going to be prepared for it, and you're going to have trouble. Okay? So you've got to know that it's there. But you don't want to focus. I know people that are focusing so much time and energy. I get literally at least 30 texts, Facebook messages, Instagram messages a day from people that are basically the same people that are sending me all kinds of things going on about the coronavirus. Now, for your mindset, I'm saying be smart about it, know what's going on, but limit your exposure to it. So you know how we talk about social distancing? I'm encouraging news distancing. I'm encouraging you to go out there and maybe spend at most 10 to 15 minutes a day to know what's going on out there. But that's it. Don't keep corrupting your mind with all this negative shit. It's not going to help anything. Know what's going on. Know how to deal with it with your family. I'm talking about the health side of this, right? And then focus on what you're going to do to move your life forward. And what we should be doing is, I see, as you guys know, I posted something that was shared with me, a video, a song of the people that are in medical communities. Do you realize if you don't want to scare yourself, if you do want to scare yourself, go and look at what's happening in New York. I mean, I saw just this morning videos of bodies being carried out with fork trucks. They're asking for more semi-trucks that have freezers to put the bodies into. You look at Central Park that now has all kinds of makeshift hospitals. And the ship that's out, the ship that's there for the people that normally would be in the hospital that they don't have coronavirus, just to take care of those people. That is what it's going to get like and be like if you're not smart about it. And it only takes one person, 5 people, 10 people being stupid about it that affect everybody. So what I'm asking my followers to do is simply be smart about it. Don't focus so much energy on it, though, meaning focus 5 to 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day at the most, on what's going on out there to know what's happening in order to protect yourself. And I'm personally saying that I feel that we are stupid as a country for not locking everything down. Now, as a business owner, how many of you guys are business owners? As a business owner, even if you're not, does it make more sense, or would it make more sense from 2 weeks ago saying we're going to lock everything down? Basically, everybody can work virtually if you have the ability to. The things that have to stay open, we're going to have to stay open. We get that. We can't stop down logistics. So let's keep those things moving, but lock everything down for 2 months and then utilize the $2.2 trillion to help keep everybody moving forward versus this stutter step approach. I don't agree with the stutter step approach. I'm not in politics. I'm simply saying they're not going to do it, so we have to do it. Do what you have to do. If you have to work outside the house, that's fine. Be smart about it. Don't bring it into your family. Come home and dump your clothes in the laundry and, clean yourself up before you spend time with your family. When you get groceries as least amount as you have to. Go buy once a month. Don't leave the house if you don't have to. But what happens is we get so lackadaisical, even though this is still going on and escalating, we become numb to it because of how much media is out there and how much news is out there. You've got to be smart about it. So what are some of the things that we can do? The things that we can do is engage in passing things around that are positive. So here's the other positive. The positive is we have a virus that hit us, a pandemic that hit us, which hasn't happened for over 100 years, since 1918. But here's the positive. The death rate is around 2.5%. As long as we keep it and slow it down of hitting the medical community. You look at countries that haven't been able to do that. You look at Italy, for example. Death rate is close to 10%. Now, that's, again, withstanding some of the numbers that people haven't been tested, et cetera, in the little older age. But here's the deal, 10%. So what we have to do is lock it down, stop it, so that as it bleeds through the medical community, they can handle it, and we keep it down to 2.5%. We should be thanking God that this pandemic that we weren't prepared for isn't like the bird flu that isn't transferred very easily. Do you guys realize the bird flu? 60% death rate is what it was having in China. 60% death rate. Imagine if that would have happened. The world doesn't change things. It's like pollution. The world doesn't change things unless it hits them between the eyes and affects them personally. Because this is affecting them personally, now all of a sudden we're going to get funding for a universal flu vaccine and looking into it. We're going to get funding for figuring this out. We're going to get funding and people are paying attention to it. And we need to thank God that it's only at a 2.5% roughly death rate. We should be, and the regular flu is about a 1% death rate. So we should be happy that this happened with this as least amount of death rate as possible, so that we can get out here and in the next year and a half have so much money being invested. See, now we're paying attention to it. Now we're putting a $2.2 trillion package together, and now looking at another way to put another package together to try keeping us afloat. That's the positive. That's the positive in all of this silver lining, is that now we're paying attention to this shit. Now we're paying attention to what's happening around us. So what we have to do is find a way to get through this the best we can. Help our fellow man. Help your neighbors. Show people you still care about them. Use Zoom and we just had a family get together this last Sunday. Loved it. I mean, all of our media family got together. Use Zoom. Get together. Spend time. Spend time with your kids. Find the positives in this. And when I talk on Saturday, I'm going to talk about the financial side of this, which is how you make money, how you never get your... So if some of you guys are in a position right now where you can't pay your rent, can't pay your mortgage, can't pay your credit cards, can't pay your car payments, vow to yourself you're never fucking going to be here again, and I'll show you paths to never be here again. More importantly, I'm going to teach you how to get through this time financially, how to figure out what aid is available, figure out what's out there, figure out how to have a side hustle of some sort so you're able to move forward, how to recession-proof your business. If you are a business, how to scale back and find ways to keep your employees on. If you're an employee, how you find ways to have your company keep you on, or find ways to make money during the situation. Okay, so I'm going to share all of that with you, the best knowledge that I have, the experts that I plug into out there, how you get through this situation. So at a high level, again, keep your mindset correct. Know there's weeds in the garden, but don't focus your time and keep watering those weeds. Know the situation is going on out there. Handle it, deal with it, focus on it, keep your family safe. Don't get lackadaisical because where you live has less people that are affected. Don't get lackadaisical in this. I'm asking all the people that are watching this, all the people that follow me, I'm asking you to be smart about this. In business, I would rather, I'll use the analogy of a Band-Aid. Do you like to rip the Band-Aid off and get it over with? You like to slow rip it. My opinion is let's go ahead and rip this thing off for the next month. The longest, the next 2 months. Let's stop it dead in its tracks. Give the medical community time to handle it and do the best that we can to think of new ways to do business. Okay, I'm looking at any comments or questions. Looking at some of your questions and comments. You guys are a little bit lagged behind me. I want to make sure I'm covering. Again, I'm asking you guys to take it or leave it, what I'm sharing with you. What I know is the information that I've been given. I look at the people that are experts out there versus the political side of it, right? The political side of it is a whole different conversation. But what I know is in business, if I had something like this going on and I had the decision, I would have locked everything down 2 weeks ago, would have locked it down for 2 months versus the stutter step situation. I would have used the $2.2 trillion to keep things afloat during that time and would have moved forward. We have to stick together. We have to work together. We have to support one another. Look at some of your comments. Thanks, John Clayton. Thanks, John Nicholson. You're exactly right, Jerry. Integrity is doing the right thing when no one is watching. So what I know is this. I know that with my social media, I'm planning on at least 100,000 plus people being me going out there and sharing my thoughts. Again, as I've said, I don't always have all of the answers. What I do know is what makes sense. What makes sense financially, what makes sense in business. Thank you, Sarah. What makes sense, right? That's what I care about. In business and personal, what makes sense? Be smart about it. Social distance, media distance, right? No more than 50 minutes a day. Find the positives in everything. Thanks, Robert. Thanks, Stephen. And I'm telling you guys, I look out there and I get pissed off. I'm positively pissed off at how stupid some people are. And I'm being rude. I feel if somebody is out there, for example, that the situation where the guy decided to have the pastor still have services and have a couple hundred, the next round 1,000 people. I feel that the guy that had coronavirus got tested for it, was found positive for coronavirus, went to Walmart. I feel the people that are doing that kind of shit. To me, that's attempted manslaughter. That's how I feel about it. Because it's not just about us. Let me ask this question to you. If you are lackadaisical, my question to you is this. How would you feel if your grandparents got this? How would you feel if your parents got this? That's the question you want to ask. Because if you, even though you may not be affecting them, you're affecting other people's grandparents, other people's parents. Think about the medical community. I saw interviews of people in the medical community in New York, and in 3 days, they all were rotating through shifts, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours of sleep, and handling that. There were people there that had to wear the same masks from patient to patient, which obviously that's not good, right? That's not good for the next patient. But there were no options. We have to do what we can do. We have to help where we can help, whether it be financially, whether it be support mentally, whether it be helping those around us. Think about other people. We have the ability right now to show how amazing the human spirit is, how amazing that people can be. Or do we want to get, I get worried. I get worried when, let's say, for example, everything goes in lockdown. Stupid people that decide, let's take a gun out and let's rob somebody else. That's the shit that happens. But you know what? We have the ability to train the human spirit and to be bigger than ourselves and to care about others. We should be sharing those stories. And that's what I'm going to continue to do, is share those stories of hope, those stories of the doctors and the nurses, people in the medical profession, the truck drivers, the people that are critical, to give them energy. So when you decide to go out and do shit, you decide to go out and still hang out, you decide not to clean up, you decide to go to the store every single week, you decide not to change your method of operations, when you decide to do those things, I want you to think about somebody else's loved one or your loved ones, because that hopefully will give you time for pause. All right, I love and care about you guys. I hope you join me on Saturday, a topic that I like talking about a lot more, which is a topic about money. How you make money during this time, how, if you look at, for example, how many companies were formed out of the last recession because people had to start thinking outside the box. You start thinking about how you can put your money in and make your money multiply if you have cash during this time. And then more importantly, how you get through this time. How you get through this time if you're in a hurt situation right now, because not communicating is not the way to do it. If you can't pay your rent, can't pay your car payments, you don't want to not communicate. And I'm going to teach you the best that I can how to get through these times. But I appreciate you guys giving me the ability to have a voice. I appreciate you guys giving me the ability to share my thoughts with you. I love getting the positive messages from you guys. I've missed you guys, and love you as family, as friends. And I hope that you guys take things seriously, but I also hope that you focus on ways to become stronger, ways to show the human spirit, ways to support one another in this time of need. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you guys on Saturday. Bye-bye.